Welcome back to the perfect non-league striker in Football Manager 21. Of course, Dylan Turnbull started in part 1, which is linked to the top of the description, at the mighty Towler Town in the 10th tier of England. Were they going to be able to climb their way up to the top? Well, if you've seen part 1, you know what's happened so far. They are on the climb. They are on the up. Can they keep it going today? Let's go see. So when we left things at the end of part 1, Dylan Turnbull's Towler Town had just missed out on promotion for the first time during his time at the club. After 5 back-to-back promotions, they'd been scuppered by the National League, but they had just had a huge FA Cup game against Man City. You might wonder, how did they do off the back of that? I'll tell you what happened. They won the league on the last day of the season. Yeah, sorry, Northampton. Towler Town going up automatically, of course, always a fiercely competitive league. And Dylan Turnbull himself put the team on his back. You can see, not only does he have 43 goals, he also has 16 assists and an 8.39 average rating, which... I mean, it's better than what he did the previous year. He decided to try a bit harder this season, it would be fair to say, and it did make a bit of a difference. Of course, because of the big FA Cup run, Towler did get in a load of money, and whilst they haven't spent a load of it certainly, I think, gave them a bit more pulling power, a lot more loan signings coming in. If we just look at the team detailed stats, naturally, with the team climbing up through the leagues as quickly as they can, the kind of wage budgets and stuff really haven't grown with the club at quite the same rate. In fact, you can see their spend is very, very low. It is still very much a one-man band, but I don't know how sustainable this is. Of course, entering the Football League, it's going to be tough for Dylan. We'll have to, I suppose, keep an eye on how he gets on. At 23 years old, Gibraltar, by the way, not climbing in the world rankings, still not winning any games. It's all just a sad, sad situation. I think to start things off, we'll go forward 3 years. 26 years old is kind of where Dylan should be hitting his prime. Towler will be establishing themselves, hopefully, as a Football League side. Let's go and see if that's the case. So in 15 years' time, Towler Town will lose their crown jewel, their key man, Dylan Turnbull. But for now, they've still got him, and since we were here, they've made it to League One, and they're on their way back to League One, everyone, because as you can see here, in their debut season in League Two, they finished second, but, it's a bit of a big but, they got relegated straight away. But then, another but, there's lots of big buts going on here. They've just won the league really convincingly. So clearly Dylan's still doing his stuff. Dylan, what happened over the last few seasons? Of course, promoted from the National League into League Two. He got 43 goals in 43 games. These numbers are absolutely mad, including 12 assists as well and 28 player of the matches. And then, well, for the first time in his career in League One, he couldn't carry in the same way. He got below an 8.0 average rating. He still got 34 goals when they were relegated. I mean, how mad must he be? He scored 34 goals. How many goals did they score total? 61. I think we can tell the issue here. They've conceded 92 goals. That's a lot of goals to concede, and to only score 61 in response is never quite going to cut it. It doesn't matter how much he does going forward. If they do not remain firm at the back, he's not going to be able to help them, everyone. That's kind of how it works. If we just look at his notable milestones here, you can see, has he got any awards? He must have been given some awards. He won League Two Player of the... Well done, mate. Well done. I mean, he's got a lot of golden boots. I guess I can scroll through this, but I think you get the idea. Even in the year where they got relegated from League One, he was in the team of the week just about every other week. It's absolutely insane. If we look at the best 11, can we have a look at the overall best 11, please? Where is he? 449 appearances, 508 goals. I'll give it to him. Pretty good. Can't deny that at all. If we just look at Towler Town here, what landmarks have the club had over the years? Of course, we've gone forward 10 years now, so it's worth just looking at what's happened over the years. What were the big kind of achievements? I guess turning professional is quite a notable one. The seating was expanded. Well, actually, no, they added seats in to the ground at one occasion, and the capacity is now at 5,000, which is pretty blooming good for this level. You can see here, Sandra... She left, everyone. I mean, if you don't know who Sandra Gordon is, you've not watched Park to Prem, which is my Let's Play with Towler Town. I'm sad seeing that. But it looks like over the last couple of years, things have been I want to say fairly stable. It doesn't look like there's been too many kind of crazy changes going on in truth. They're just kind of plodding along and doing really, really well. I mean, it's going to be interesting now to see, can they actually stabilise in League One? Like, is there a world in which they can stay up? Because they've gone up once already and then come straight back down. Maybe just this extra year is going to have allowed them to add some pretty good players to their ranks. I mean, you can see here, they're not spending insignificant sums of money on players. And just looking at some of the players in their team, they're pretty good. If we just look at the season preview, where were they predicted to finish? Yeah, you can see here they were predicted to win the league. And Doyle at centre-back and also Sweet at centre-mid. Just two players who, alongside Dylan Turnbull, were in the media dream 11. It would be fair to say that they're actually developing a really good team, which can only be a good thing going forward. Very, very interested now to see how they get on kind of establishing themselves in League One. I think with that in mind, we will go forward 2 years next time, see how Dylan is doing in 2032. Are they still going to be staying up? Let's go find out. Wow, the question coming into this was, would Towler Town survive? The answer is they have thrived. After their promotion, they finished third. They got to the playoffs of League One, and, well, they must have lost because they're still in League One now. But from the looks of it, they made it to League One again. How did they get on? They won the final. Huge. Dylan Turnbull, 42 goals, 28 player of the matches. He carried everyone. He did it. What happened in this final? Can we look at the detailed stats? Did he get the goals? He got one of the goals. They were 2-0 down at half-time, and he inspired a little bit of a comeback. Looking at how they're playing, they've been playing a 4-4-2, it would seem. Of course, Dylan can't change how he plays everyone. He is only a striker. They've not tried training him in any new positions. As a result, he does just play striker every single game. And when it mattered the most, he activated, he carried, he got Towler to the championship, which is absolutely nuts. That is beyond what I thought was possible. Their media prediction was 21st, which just seems crazy when you consider that last season they finished third. Like, are they just been given a massive disservice? If we look at the media dream 11, Dylan Turnbull is the best player in the league. Their second best player is Jack Thomas, who is 18 years old and on loan from Derby. He looks very, very good, to be fair. 17 assists he got. I imagine he's been kind of benefiting quite a lot from having Dylan Turnbull to pick out. I do wonder if actually with having, a striker this good, does it just inflate the numbers of those around him? So yeah, he's playing in the championship next year. And, whilst he is going to be turning 29 next season, make no mistake, there are plenty of years left in the tank. The natural fitness is still at 20. He's still absolutely insane. You can see here in the promotion season, 40 goals. In the season where they lost in the playoff previously as well, they got 40 goals. Actually, that's a point. What stage did they lose in the playoffs the previous season? That's something I am kind of interested in. Looks like they must have gone out in the semi-finals. Yeah, they did. They went out to Blackpool. So couldn't do enough that year for them, sadly. But no, Towler going really, really strong. Defying all expectations. I think there's one man to thank for that. I don't think we can be too surprised at what's happening. It's worth noting, obviously, the media prediction was down in kind of the 20th, but actually looking at things here, in the season preview, which does seem to update through the season, but it's always a bit weird in Football Manager, they are backing them that little bit more to do well. Right, shall we have a look quickly at Gibraltar? What's happening in Gibraltar? How are you doing, Gibraltar? You're up to 165th. I'm amazed at how little they are improving. I thought they would do a lot better than this. They are not winning games. They're in the Nations League C, it would seem, although they may have even been relegated from it back down to D. Looks like they played a relegation leg and maybe they lost on away goals, I think. So they're now down in the National League D. They're now playing San Marino and Luxembourg again. They've done absolutely nothing. I wonder if he's retired. I mean, he's still listed as their captain. He's not retired yet, but you have to wonder, given the lack of progression that's been made by, well, the entirety of the national team, how soon before he pulls the plug on his international career. I feel like it's got to be coming soon. Anyway, I think to wrap up today, we'll go forward one further season, see how Dylan does in his maiden championship year. At 20 years old, very much in his prime now, although technically he's been in his prime the whole time. Going to be interesting to see what he can do. Of course, he's only going to have 12 seasons left after this next one. Can they survive? They must go down, surely. So for the final time today, we are back, and Dylan Turnbull, 35 goals in the Championship. I will say, he has an XG of 41, so he's actually underperforming his XG, which is shambolic. You know, it makes me think that he gets in the right positions, but then he doesn't actually finish them. Just one little thing that I totally forgot to mention during the kind of earlier segments. You might have noticed some weird stuff going on with his contract expiry date. Originally, I just left the contract expired, and then, you know, obviously he won't leave the club until 2045 anyway. But the AI wasn't registering Dylan for the league games because he didn't have a contract. So I've had to intermittently just give him a few more years on his contract. Unfortunately, you can only add 5 at a time. So you might have noticed some weirdness there. Just looking at the international side of things, it doesn't look like he's retired from international football. He's not quit yet. He's still considered a star there. But the burning question is, first season in the Championship, could he keep them up? And the answer is barely. Yes, 46 points actually, 10 points clear at the end of the day. That's fairly comfortable. He got the highest average rating and the highest number of goals and the most man of the matches. Interesting to note, Newcastle United, who are, I guess, theoretically a local rival of Town Town, also playing in the Championship this year. I bet that was one hell of a kind of derby game to look forward to. But yeah, from the looks of it, Town doing really well. You know, professional, secured. I guess the question remains now, can they stay up? What was their media prediction? 24th. So they were predicted to finish bottom. And it goes without saying, a player who scores 35 goals and single-handedly gets you just a handful of wins is going to be a bit of a difference maker, isn't he? He looks like he's done the business. I'm actually interested. Has he had any injuries this kind of simulation? Something we didn't look at. You can see here lots of little minor ones, but nothing that's kept him out for an extended period of time. Gibraltar, world rankings, 167. I think that's the highest they've been whenever we've checked on them. I mean, it's not, when you look at this chart, it's not particularly great viewing, is it? I mean, there has been progression, but it has dropped off again as of late. But he is still captain. So they are still going. So right, just before we go, we'll have a look at this. You can see here, 524 appearances, 558 goals, 183 assists, an 8.43 average rating, 353 man of the matches. And it's worth noting, he's still got 12 more years. He will play until he's 41. Can he keep them in the Championship? I guess that has to be the aim. Could they establish themselves as a Championship team long enough to get promoted? It feels unlikely, but given what he's done so far, like, you have to set, like, maybe, I guess we'll find out in part 3. Worth noting, we'll just have a last little look at the landmarks. They finished runner-up in the EFL Trophy. So close yet so far. And the youth category rating has been raised to category 4, which, if you were wondering, is the worst category you can have. But at least they're trying to do something with the youth development. At least they're trying some long-term stability for after Dylan goes. I guess we have to give them some credit for that. Anyway, guys, that does wrap up part number 2 of this FM experiment from me. We will be back with part 3, the third and final part, to see how his career ends very, very soon. Make sure to subscribe so you can see that. If you've enjoyed the video, as always, drop a like on it. And until next time, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.